Element is a real-time strategy space game for people that don't have time to play a real-time strategy space game. So you're basically trying to get out of a deteriorating system, and you mine element on a planet and defeat the enemy on the planet to get to the next planet. We kind of made it because we love playing those kind of games, but we just don't have time to play those games either. So we thought, let's make something we can play and something that people will enjoy. And we've kind of distilled down the RTS genre into something that is kind of 2 to 10 minute games, really. And that comes from the art style right down to the actual resources you use to get through.
Desync is a really challenging score-based PC FPS game. We're inspired by, the old school shooters, the Quake, Painkiller series, Sam, that sort of stuff. But we're trying to bring those games, instead of just remaking them and going like, oh, it's another old school game, trying to update those games. And what can we really do with a PC mouse and keyboard in the modern era of games, You can die really easy in this game, right? And it's a lot about replayability, repetition, cycles. I think just the aesthetic is really grim and intense as well. So I think it's just an easy Souls reference, but definitely the challenge and the enemies that are varied, and they don't just come at you and attack. They have different abilities and different attacks, and yeah.
Wildfire is a stealth game where you can control the elements. So you can control fire and water and earth, and you can use them to affect your environment, change your environment, and overcome enemies and obstacles by combining those powers in creative ways. So for example, you could take fire from a campfire and throw it on a wooden bridge, and that bridge is going to heat up and up and up and up and up, and eventually it's going to combust. And when a bridge combusts, eventually it's going to collapse. So anyone on that bridge is going to fall down with it, so you can take out an enemy that way. You can take water from a lake and turn it into ice and freeze the top of the lake and then run across it. You could take grass and then throw it on a wall to create a vine, which you can then climb up and get somewhere that you wouldn't normally be able to go. We want to create a sandbox-like level and put a bunch of systems in it and let you play with those systems and solve it and get your objective completed in whatever way you want. We don't explicitly say you must do A, B, or C. We just let you go.
Well, I mean, primarily it's a video game, and if you want me to break it down a little more, it's kind of a cinematic action-adventure game with musical elements. It's about a young musician who goes on a multi-dimensional journey to create his stage persona. So it's kind of like if you imagine if David Bowie went on a space journey and came back as Ziggy Stardust. That's what the game's about. When you make a cinematic platformer, or what I would establish as a cinematic platformer, I think you need a variety of gameplay elements for pacing and for the dynamics of the game. So there's a lot of musical elements, as speaking. There's hoverboarding. You use your guitar to shred through the air and kind of airwalk, and you can use your guitar to run up laser beams. So there's a variety of gameplay elements that I hope mesh into this seamless adventure.
It's a difficult one to describe in with traditional genres, but we're trying to describe it as like a Zen puzzle simulation strategy game. Well, we really tried to make the smallest possible game that we could make while still having enough depth there to maintain kind of long-term strategic play. So I guess the art, I think the biggest thing that the art does is it really gives people an impression of the type of game it is, because many people are familiar with the way a Metro map looks, so they kind of see the game, see it looks like a Metro map, so maybe it has a hint about what the gameplay might be. So yeah, I think it kind of gives people just an idea about what to expect.
Well, it's basically just a comic book puzzle game where you are rearranging the panels of content to solve the puzzle and progress the story. There's little kind of Easter eggs in there where certain failure states there'll be a little animation you might not otherwise see, like a particularly funny, him falling or something like that. And that's definitely part of the design process to make sure that there's those little kind of moments that you might find by failing, which is cool.
Yeah.
And we hope all the people who like the original one like the new one too. Yeah.